There are some people in this world who just know deep down that they're meant for something greater. It's not about ego. It's not about craving attention or seeking validation. It's something much deeper. It's a calling, a pull toward a destiny they can't quite put into words, but they feel it. If you've ever had this undeniable sense that your life has a purpose beyond the ordinary, beyond just existing, you might be one of the elect. This feeling often starts early. Maybe as a child, you had moments where you felt different, like you didn't quite fit into the world the way others did. You looked around and questioned things other people simply accepted, while others were content with routine, with surface level conversations, with just going through the motions of life. You felt a hunger for something more, not just success, not just happiness, something deeper, something meaningful. But here's the thing, most people ignore this calling. They bury it under responsibilities, under social expectations, under fear. They let the noise of the world drown it out. They convince themselves that it was just their imagination, that they should settle for what's realistic. But the elect can't do that. No matter how much they try to fit in, no matter how much they try to ignore that voice inside, it never goes away. And that's because this isn't just some fleeting thought. It's a core part of who you are. It's the part of you that refuses to accept mediocrity. It's the part of you that pushes you to grow, to seek, to evolve. It's the part of you that knows, without a doubt, that you were chosen for something beyond the ordinary. Now, that doesn't mean the path is easy. In fact, if you've ever felt this inner calling, you've probably faced resistance. You've probably dealt with people who don't understand you, who tell you to be realistic, who laugh at your vision. Maybe you've even doubted yourself at times, wondering if you're crazy for feeling this way. But here's what you need to know. Every single person who has ever changed the world has felt exactly like this. The greatest leaders, the greatest innovators, the greatest visionaries, every single one of them felt this pull before they ever had proof that they were different. They knew long before anyone else did. And that's what separates the elect from everyone else. They listen to that inner voice. They don't ignore it. They don't suppress it. They don't wait for permission. They trust it. So if you ever felt this, if you've ever had this undeniable sense that you're here for something more, you are. But the question is, are you going to answer the call, or are you going to spend your life running from it? Because at the end of the day, there's only one thing that separates those who fulfill their destiny from those who don't. It's not intelligence, it's not luck, it's not talent. It's the choice to step into who you were meant to be. And that choice, it starts right now. Life will test you. That's not a question, it's a guarantee. At some point, you will face moments that shake you to your core. You'll experience setbacks, betrayals, failures, things that could break you if you let them. But here's what separates the elect from everyone else. They don't just survive hardship, they transform through it. Resilience isn't just about enduring pain. Anyone can suffer, anyone can struggle, but not everyone rises from it. The elect have an unshakable ability to take life's toughest moments and use them as fuel. They don't see obstacles as punishment, they see them as preparation. Every challenge, every hardship, every moment of adversity is forging them into something stronger. It's refining them, like fire refines steel. And if you look back at your life, you'll probably notice this pattern. Maybe you've been through things that most people would crumble under. Maybe you've had moments where you thought, this is it. I don't know how I'm going to get through this. But you did. You found a way. And every time, you didn't just return to who you were before, you became something more. That's not an accident. That's not random. That's a sign. Most people let pain define them. They build their identity around their suffering. They carry their wounds like a badge, using them as an excuse to stay small, to play the victim. But the elect, they use pain as a launch pad. They take every setback and turn it into a comeback. They refuse to let their past dictate their future. And this isn't just about emotional resilience, it's about mental toughness. It's about developing a mindset so unshakable that nothing life throws at you can stop you. Because here's the truth, life will never get easier, but you can get stronger. And when you do, what once felt impossible becomes just another challenge to overcome. The elect don't run from discomfort. They don't avoid hardship. They lean into it. They embrace the struggle because they know that every difficulty is an opportunity in disguise. They know that pressure creates diamonds, that resistance builds muscle, that the hardest battles forge the strongest warriors. And if you've ever been through something that should have broken you but didn't, then you already have this within you. You've already proven that you can withstand the storm. The question is, what will you do with that power? Will you use it to rise, or will you let it go to waste? Because at the end of the day, the world isn't going to hand you an easy path. But it is giving you a choice. You can either let adversity define you, or you can use it to refine you. And the moment you decide that nothing can break you, that's the moment you become unstoppable. There's a reason most people stay stuck. It's not because they lack talent, intelligence, or potential. It's because they're trapped by illusion, by false narratives, by limiting beliefs, by the conditioning of a world that wants them to stay asleep. But the elect, they see through it. They have an intuitive sense of truth that most people don't. Think about this. From the moment you were born, you've been fed ideas about who you are, what's possible for you, and how the world works. And most people accept these ideas without question. They never stop to ask, is this true? They never challenge the assumptions they've inherited. And because of that, they live inside a mental cage without even realizing it. But you're different. If you're one of the elect, you've always had this sense, this knowing that there's more beneath the surface. You don't just accept things at face value. You question, you analyze, you look deeper. You trust your intuition even when it goes against what you're being told. And that's a rare gift, because truth isn't always obvious. Sometimes it whispers. Sometimes it's buried beneath layers of deception, fear, and manipulation. And the world doesn't make it easy to see. It conditions people to doubt themselves, to outsource their thinking, to follow the crowd. But the elect don't follow blindly. They see. And that's not just an advantage, it's a responsibility. Because once you see the truth, you can't unsee it. Once you know what's real, you can't go back to living like everyone else. You're called to live differently, to operate at a higher level, to make decisions based on wisdom rather than fear. This isn't about paranoia or rebellion for the sake of rebellion. It's about discernment. It's about developing the ability to separate truth from illusion, reality from conditioning, genuine opportunity from distractions. It's about trusting your instincts even when no one else does. And if you've ever had moments where you sensed something was off, where you felt deep down that a certain path wasn't right for you, even when others insisted it was, pay attention. That's your intuition speaking. That's your inner guidance system telling you that you're meant for something more. The question is, are you willing to listen? Are you willing to trust yourself even when the world tells you not to? Because if you are, that's when everything changes. That's when you stop living in reaction to the world and start creating your own path. That's when you step into your power fully, unapologetically. Most people live their entire lives following a script they never wrote, chasing goals they never questioned, believing things they never examined. But not you. You were born to see beyond the illusion. You were born to seek the truth. And once you find it, your life will never be the same again. Some people settle, they get comfortable, they reach a certain level in life and decide this is enough. They stop pushing, they stop growing, and they convince themselves that's just the way things are. But the elect, they don't have that switch. They are driven, obsessed with mastery. It's not about competition, it's not about proving anything to anyone else. It's about the internal need to evolve, to refine, to become the absolute best version of themselves. It's a hunger that never disappears, a fire that never burns out, and that hunger separates them from the masses. Because most people are satisfied with good enough. They reach a plateau and stop climbing. But the elect understand something powerful. There is no finish line. There is no point where you say, I've arrived. Growth is the goal. Progress is the standard. And anything less feels like dying inside. Look at the greatest minds, the greatest leaders, the greatest innovators. The reason they changed the world wasn't luck. It wasn't because they had better circumstances. It was because they refused to stop growing. They weren't content with surface level success. They didn't settle for average effort, average results, or an average life. They committed fully, relentlessly to mastery. And this mindset applies to everything. Whether it's your career, your relationships, your health, your personal development, there is always another level. There is always more to refine, more to understand, more to become. The elect don't shy away from that truth. They embrace it. They don't fear the challenge of growth, they crave it. But let's be real. Mastery requires sacrifice. It requires discipline. It requires saying no to distractions, to mediocrity, to anything that pulls you away from your highest potential. That's why so few people achieve it, because it's hard, it's uncomfortable, it demands consistency, patience, and an unshakable commitment to the process. And that's where most people fall off. They want the results, but they don't want the grind. They love the idea of success, but they're unwilling to pay the price. But the elect, they don't avoid the hard work. They don't back down when things get tough. They lean in because they understand that mastery isn't a destination, it's a way of life. So the real question is, are you committed to mastery, or are you settling for just enough? Because if you're not pushing yourself every single day to be better, to learn more, to refine your craft, to develop your mind, your body, your spirit, then you're stagnating. And stagnation is the first step to decline. You weren't made to be average. You weren't made to stop at good enough. You were made to master your life, to demand more of yourself, to pursue excellence in everything you do. And the moment you accept that, really accept it, is the moment you step into your true power. There is something different about the elect. Something you can't always put into words, but you feel it when you're around them. It's an energy, a presence. It's the way they move through the world, the way they command respect without demanding it. And the reason? They don't operate from fear, they operate from certainty. Most people live in reaction to life. They second guess themselves, hesitate, wait for permission. They let doubt creep in, and that doubt paralyzes them. They want guarantees. They want absolute certainty before they take action. And because of that, they never move. They get stuck in a cycle of waiting for the right time, waiting for validation, waiting for some external sign that it's okay to go all in. But the elect, they don't wait. They decide. That's the difference. The elect move with conviction. They trust themselves. They trust their instincts. They don't need outside validation to confirm what they already know. And because of that, they take action before everything is perfect. They step forward even when there's uncertainty, even when there's risk. And here's the truth. Certainty isn't something you're given. It's something you create. It's not about knowing everything will work out exactly as planned, because it won't. It's about knowing that you will make it work no matter what. It's about developing an unshakable belief in your ability to adapt, to overcome, to figure things out along the way. That's why the elect seem different. That's why people gravitate toward them. Because deep down, we are drawn to certainty. We are drawn to people who have absolute clarity in their purpose, in their direction. It's rare, it's magnetic, and it's powerful. But it's also a choice. Because certainty doesn't come from external success. It comes before success. It's what creates success. The most powerful people in history weren't certain because they had proof of their greatness. They were certain before the world ever saw it. They moved with confidence when there was no evidence, when there was no applause, when no one believed in them yet. And that's what separates those who achieve greatness from those who never get started. It's not about waiting for permission. It's about giving yourself permission. It's about deciding that you are the kind of person who follows through, who commits fully, who doesn't let fear dictate their path. So ask yourself, where in your life are you hesitating? Where are you holding back because you're waiting for some external sign to confirm what you already know deep down? And more importantly, when are you going to stop waiting? Because if you want to step into your full potential, if you want to become everything you were meant to be, you have to move with certainty. You have to decide right now that you will succeed. Not because everything is perfect, not because there's no risk, but because you refuse to accept any other outcome. And the moment you make that decision, everything changes. There's something about the elect that sets them apart in a way most people can't quite define. It's not just their drive, their resilience, or even their certainty. It's deeper than that. It's a sense of purpose so powerful, so undeniable, that it shapes everything they do. They don't just exist, they are called. And when you are called, you know it. It's not always loud. It doesn't always come with flashing lights and a clear roadmap. Sometimes it starts as a whisper. a feeling, a sense that you're meant for something more, even if you can't quite articulate what it is yet. And while most people ignore that voice, distract themselves from it, suppress it, the elect listen. Because that calling is not random. It's not an accident. It's an invitation to rise, an invitation to become. And the truth is, if you're feeling it, it means you're ready for it. But here's where most people go wrong. They think purpose is something they find. They wait for it to reveal itself, as if one day it will just appear, fully formed with all the answers. But the elect know better. They don't wait for purpose to find them. They create it. They step into the unknown. They move forward before they have all the details figured out. And in the process, their path begins to unfold. Because purpose isn't given, it's uncovered. It's revealed through action, through pursuit, through commitment. The more you engage with life, the more you push yourself beyond your limits, the clearer it becomes. And if you're waiting for clarity before you take action, you'll be waiting forever. That's why so many people never step into their true potential. They spend their lives searching for a sign, hoping for a moment of revelation, when the real answer is simple. You must decide that you are here for a reason, that your life is not random, that your experiences, your struggles, your passions, none of it is meaningless. It's all shaping you, preparing you, positioning you for something bigger than yourself. And the moment you stop questioning if you have a purpose and start asking how you can fully step into it, everything changes. Because when you embrace that calling, when you commit to it with every fiber of your being, you stop living at the mercy of the world. You stop being pushed around by circumstances, by fear, by doubt. You become the one who moves the world. The elect don't just live, they lead. They don't wait for change, they become the change. They don't ask for permission, they act. And if you're hearing this right now, if something inside you is resonating with these words, that's not an accident. It's a signal. It's a reminder of what you already know deep down. You were made for more. So the only question left is, are you going to answer the call? Because if you do, nothing will ever be the same again.